I'm from the Department of Experimental Plant Ecology, and what we are doing is looking at how plants, and in this case plants from the Netherlands, how they respond to their environment. And part of that is looking at these specific plants here that grow on the Dutch dikes. So for our research, we not only look what happens above ground, because that's relatively easy. You can see these plants, but we also look at what happens below ground. As you can see, there are many roots here, and it's very difficult to study these because they're below ground and it's difficult to reach them. So we have all kinds of techniques where we can look below ground and see what happens there. So we all know that climate is changing, and in the Netherlands we had much more severe droughts in summer, like 2 and 3 years ago. So what happened on the Dutch dikes is that all the plants that were growing there died, and it was completely brown. So what we are aiming at is introducing plant species to the dikes that are more drought resistant. It will also increase biodiversity on these dikes, so bees and other insects have more sources for pollen and for nectar, and in that way we can improve biodiversity in the Netherlands.
Here at the Department of Environmental Science, we make use of computer models. So we don't go out in the field ourselves, but we make use of other biologists that gather data in the field. What we do here is make use of our models and in our statistical analysis to explore patterns in the data, to find sustainable solutions for all of the environmental challenges that we face today. So one example on a topic that we work on is biodiversity assessment. So we try to predict which species are more vulnerable to extinction, for example, due to human activities. We also try to find patterns. So for example, are larger species, such as the rhino, more vulnerable to extinction compared to smaller species, such as the mouse? So why is this important? It's very important to know which species are more vulnerable to extinction compared to others, so that we can try to protect them, or we can try to conserve the areas that they live in, so that our planet remains healthy.
So I do PhD research in the developmental neurobiology lab, and in our lab we are interested in the development of the brain. And the development of the brain is a very complex process which involves a lot of signaling molecules, and in fact there is a lot that is not yet known about this process, so a lot of scientists are interested in this, and so are we. And what we specifically study is the effect of certain genes on neurodevelopment, because there's patients that have mutations in genes that cause, for example, intellectual disability. And that is because something went wrong in the development of the brain. So we use that as a starting point to study the development of the brain. So on the one hand, our studies increase the understanding of the development of the brain and the role of specific genes therein. But on the other hand, learning about these genes and about the diseases that are caused by mutations in these genes eventually help to improve patient care. So the people in our lab really have a curiosity to find out how the brain works, and there's a lot of complex processes involved. So we use quite modern technologies to study this. For example, cell culture technologies. We do a lot of microscopy and things like RNA sequencing. And by taking all these things together, we try to learn more about brain development.